Mina Aisatus Maisise and today Sierra Network Day na the Sierra Leone Police Headquarters concerning the press briefing where the Sierra Leone Police call as the CID they go on different activities them and also operations them. Then they can talk about how their activities then they go on, how successful the operations be.
Welcome you all into this urgent and very important press briefing for your time, in coming to this press briefing. And I will start my introduction by introducing the chairman of this gathering, who is the Director of Operations in the Sierra Leone Police Force, Mr. Amadou Mana. And I think also we have the Director of Crime Services who was seated here, but I just went out. I hope he's coming. Who is Mr. Faya Selu, now in charge of crime services for all crime issues in the SRP. Also in our midst we have Mr. Levy, who is in charge of operations at the Criminal Investigations Department. On my right here is, we have just received Mr. Faraselu, who is in charge of the crime issues in the country as a whole. You're welcome, sir. Mr. Faraselu. On my right is the media officer from Northwest, who is Sergeant Bangura. You're welcome. And also we have at the extreme end there is Alberta Thomas, also a charge at Media and Public Relations Office as Police Headquarters. At this juncture, I would like to throw the ball to you guys, to introduce you and the houses you are representing. Thank you very much. So I will start from my right here.
Aisatus Maisise from Sierra Network Press.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Future newspaper.
Okay, Usman Conte.
Yes, Mahmoud Silla, Momentum newspaper.
Momentum.
Yes.
Yes.
Mohammed Afara, Global Media and Network.
Okay. Yes, my immediate left here.
It's Taliban, Journalist Against Injustice.
Okay. Yes, madam. Night Watch.
Any cabo fiction newspaper.
Mohamed Sisi, I write for A2Z Multimedia Corporations as well as the newspaper.
Okay. Thank you very much, and now hand you over to the chairman for this occasion. Thank you very much.
This thing is not working. Thank you very much, Media 3. That is your designation from today. And I want to thank all our members of the Fourth Estate that came to this press break. I think the last one was well attended, but I was told at the end of the meeting that some of those that were here were from the civil society. They introduced themselves as press houses. And people knew exactly why they were here. And today, we are here again to tell you what has happened over the last 1 week. And I will tell you that a lot has happened. A lot that will interest you, the press, has happened in the police. And I think we are on top of situations. You will see that our operations are ongoing. The CBD is clear in spite of some challenges that we are receiving from some people that are braving the issues. And if you go to Congo Cross to how do I call it, Lumbly, I think it has been working very well. You also realize that last week we had some problems with evictions in Dudu, and it went on very, very well. Unfortunately, the next morning, I think that was on a Saturday, the youths of that area went into the streets, barricaded the streets, stopped traffic from flowing, and made a lot of noise on issues that are legal. That is what I always tell people. The rule of law must reign supreme in this country. If we leave it as it is, I assure you it will be the cowboy days, the Robin Hood days. Those, the survival of the fittest. And the police become very useless if we do not take justice issues very seriously. I think that was dealt with. If something happens and you are aggrieved, the court is there. But the issues of, hey, now you demand them, this is causing a lot of problems, and I think we all need to fight against those things. Educate our people that the law is there for the protection of everyone. You will also realize shortly after that we had some cartridges that were arrested, the shotgun cartridges from Balamuya. The crime people will have to throw some light on that. And that also came. I think I told you about the pellet that was also discovered in one of the containers following the pistol issues that we discussed the last time. And you will also realize that a lot of other crimes have occurred. A lot of raids on the drug dens have also been conducted. Details will be given to you by the Director of Crime Services. And other issues in the west end of Freetown, the media officer, Mr. Bangura, is also here to give updates on some of those issues. There are several others that are happening in the provinces. We told you about our fight against the siltation, the mining along our major rivers. I think I've briefed you on that in the last 2 weeks, that we have done a lot to ensure that our rivers are pollution-free, that people resume enjoying their natural rivers. We have been doing those operations, and thank God, a lot of people have been charged to court, and we have a lot of exhibits as well. The EDSA obstruction, the illegal obstructions are ongoing. A lot of people were arrested in McKinney for illegally obstructing electricity, and in Freetown here. And you all know about the transformer. The head of the director of crime services will throw light on the progress made in those investigations. A lot has been done over the, and I want you to remember, have you heard about Yahoo boys, Yahoo men in Nigeria? I understand they are here. One of those cases we have received. If they know those people that will give you, say, well, this is my account number. They know your account number, the rest of the money that is there will be transferred almost immediately. So for those of you that are giving out your account numbers, the day they know it, your money is finished. Electronically, they will just get in and transfer your monies to other accounts where they will have access. So these are some of the good news that you will hear. What I would want to press, one thing I would want to press is that you people are the mouthpiece. You see, I see on the paper, I see them. People believe in the press. They say, Ayeria, na radio. Ayeria, clear one. You know, that's what the radio say. I like na lie. You know, so you are our mouthpiece. You know, we can't say this is what the SLP. But if we tell you and you adequately you report on some of those issues correctly, I think it will help a lot. It will help a lot. And I want to encourage you, please, all the questions you have, whether related or not, except to tell you we are not prepared to answer that one, bring them up so that we shall be able to dialogue properly, and then we shall be able to ensure that we give you the correct information, you give out the right information, and we should be able as well to ensure that this country is safe. The country can only be safe with you people and us collaborating. I think this is why we are here, to be giving you updates on our activities. And the sooner we are able to do it well, and you also do your part well, then we shall be able to free this country of all injustices. Because the rate at which the police has moved over the last 1 month in curbing some of these serious offenses, I think if we go ahead this country will be a safe place. No, I don't hear people praising the police. We don't hear of robberies any longer. Have you? Have you been hearing? No. We haven't been hearing of robberies for a very, very long time. Car theft was on the increase sooner than other government came. But it is almost becoming something of the past. You know? And several other offenses. I go through my crime statistics on a daily basis. I don't see very violent crimes any longer. This is telling us that we are improving. The clique issues that were resound very big are becoming something of the past. Slowly, slowly, slowly. I think people have realized that some of these things are not paying. Tramadol, Kush, and others, I think our boys, I'm seeing it going down a bit because the police is cracking hard on them, and we are arresting a lot of those things from the vendors themselves. So this is also assisting us. On the whole, I think with the police is doing well, the country is going very well, it's very safe, probably except for Corona. I don't want to make any comment on that. Because I see every day we are trying, the police are trying to enforce. I see majority of people, especially in the big buses, you see 200 people, no one will wear a mask. You know? So these are some of the things, but I want to thank you and welcome you to this press briefing. We will go very fast. I will now call on the Director of Crime Services to give his updates. Thank you very much, Mr. Kawase. Okay. What do you want to? Do you have your updates here? Yes. Let me have them.
Good afternoon, Director of Operations, colleagues, members of the Fourth Estate. I hope I'm audible. I'm going to talk on a number of sensitive issues. I will dwell on three sensitive issues. One, we have realized that there is a huge influx of drugs in the country, and the accompanying effect is that our youths are becoming very irate, and they are creating a lot of problems for security as a whole. So with that in mind, we came up with a very quick action plan, quick fix, to see how best we can clamp down on the operations of those drug barons, people who are suspected to be dealing with drugs. We've conducted 3 sting operations. On the 6th of this month, we tracked one Baba Dumbuya of Magazine Community and a resident of London. He has been on our surveillance radar for a very long time on the suspicion of being a trafficker of narcotics into this country. On that particular date, we tracked him and we were able to arrest him along this George Street somewhere by Finance down there. So when we picked him up, we impounded his mobile phones. We went to his residence and conducted a search at Adokia, Boma, they call the drive Boma Drive. At Boma Drive, we were able to arrest one, and it's Samuel Leby. And then Samuel Leby was living in the house of Baba Dumbuya. And during the search, we came out with a small bar, the size of this phone, suspected to be hash. Hash is something drawn from cannabis. So the 2 suspects and the sample or the substance we found with Anes Leby is with the Toku. We are taking it to the forensic lab on Saturday so that it can be examined for us to ascertain what it is, so that we can defy the appropriate charges. So that is one. And on the 13th, we conducted 2 sting operations. One at number 3D Mamba Ridge, Kisi. At Mamba Ridge, Kisi, we arrested one Juliet Camara. Juliet Camara had in her possession 25 packets of 225 milligrams of tramadol. In this country, tramadol is allowed, you can have tramadol, but only 50 milligrams. More than 50 milligrams is a very serious offense. So she was found in possession of 25 packets of 225 milligrams tramadol. That is very serious. With a huge quantity, over 45 ounces of kush, and another quantity of cannabis. Quite apart from those drugs we found in her possession, we also discovered she was having the total sum of 58,119,000 loans and $1,805. Both sums of monies are suspected to be proceeds from the sales of the drugs. So she's presently in our custody, assisting the investigation. Like I said earlier on, all of those drugs we found on her possession are going to be taken to the forensic lab on Saturday at Connaught. For the whole of the day, we'll be running those tests with a view for them to appear in court on Monday. This time, it's not business as usual. And then the second operation we did on the 13th was at number 2 King Street, Igbo Town, Waterloo. At number 2 King Street, Igbo Town, Waterloo, we were able to arrest the cartel owner, Almami Robinson. When we searched his cartel, we found 2 barrels of cannabis, full, 2 barrels of cannabis. He had 8 packets of 225 milligrams tramadol and a quantity of kush. Then we arrested the second person in the same cartel, Alimami Kamara. It's like drug dealing is the occupation of the Almamis. Alimami Kamara. On him, we found a quantity of kush wrapped apparently for sale. He is believed to be running the cartel or running the drug deal for Almami Robinson. And 5 other people were arrested for being found in the place where drugs are sold and consumed. Frequent is also an offense with an appropriate section of law. So all of these drug samples will be tested on Saturday at the forensic lab. All the reagents have been bought by Director of Operations so that we can make a test case, because if we don't do the forensic examination, there's a tendency that the lawyers will challenge it in court. So that is one activity we have conducted over the past couple of days. The second one we are looking at, all of us, I'm sure we are aware of the suicide at Kent by the Korean national Kim Son-yeon of the Shongang Fishing Company. On the 2nd of this month, he committed suicide and left behind a trail, suicide note. In that note, there are issues about injustice, corruption, and unfair treatment meted on him by officials of the Ministry of Fisheries and Marine Resources. So as a police force, we have a responsibility to look at those issues. We want to test the truth of those allegations in the suicide note. There are also some exhibits at the scene of crime. A glass cup containing black residue suspected to be poison, a green belt, and 4 packets of insect killers. Of course, the inscriptions are in Chinese, so we don't know what they are actually. And of course, we have commenced the investigation alongside government's commitment to undertake an administrative investigation into the cause of that death. We are looking at the criminal side. They are doing the administrative inquiry. So we obtain statements from the minister, the deputy, the permanent secretary, the director general, and the head of monitoring, surveillance, and controls unit. Those ones are policy statements they made to us. And as of today, we are obtaining statements from the head of the Artisanal Union and the Joint Maritime Team comprising SLP and house staff personnel at Norton. Those have to do with the operational issues, because the investigation is being led by the statements we obtained from the policymakers. So we are going to test those policy statements as against what has been alleged or what was alleged by the Korean before he passed on the 2nd of this month. So basically, these are the 3 key issues I want to discuss. My operations officer at the CID Crime Management has some other issues about crime we'd like to discuss. That's all my side.
Thank you, Mr. Levy. The floor is yours.
Good afternoon again, Director of Operations, Director of Crime Services, the media representative, First Estate, ladies and gentlemen. In addition to the serious crime that has been highlighted by the crime services, we now highlight some important cases also. A case and inquiry filed for an alleged case of unlawful possession of shotgun cartridges was received by the Criminal Investigation Department from Cambia Division. It was alleged that by Peter B. Dawa, the head of the anti-smuggling unit, Custom Post Cambia District, that on Tuesday, the 6th July 2021 at about 1100 hours, whilst he was on duty at the above post, carrying out his normal routine search on vehicle for goods of custom interest. He discovered 10 wrapped by 4 cartons, by 10 packets, by 25 pieces of shotgun cartridges, unlawfully possessed by Saidu Brewer and concealed in a vehicle with registration number RC4416AP in control of the said Brewer driver. But the suspect is on the run. So the cartridges are under our custody. We have written a request for ballistic examination.
Where is
the matter is?
Where is the vehicle?
The vehicle presently is at Waramuya.
Please call for it.
Under the police custody. Investigation is in progress. Added to that again, on Wednesday, 7th July 2021, at about 18:55 hours, the Operations Unit Criminal Investigation Department Headquarters, Pandeba Road, received an intelligence that narcotic drug, including dry leaves suspected to be kush, cocaine, and other harmful drugs, substances were unlawfully possessed and concealed at number 28 Alustain Street, Calbaton, Freetown. The joint operation team comprised of detective officers and OSD officers were formed from CID and OSD headquarters joint. The team conducted a search on warrants and the substances suspected to be cannabis sativa and other harmful substances that was contained in the blue barrel mobile phone, laptops, computer, and 24 assorted SIM cards were discovered. These suspects were 4 Nigerians, which they have queer names: Chukwu Olu Martin, Daniel Anti Friday, Ekuchukwu Okeke, and Solomon Ubu. We are cautioned and questioned about how they obtained the discovered exhibits. Suspect Ochuko Elu around the community. Now the investigation is in active progress at the CID headquarters. The last but not the least, on Saturday, the 10th July 2021 at 18:42 hours, Louis Touré and Patrick Emin of Zenith Bank arrested and brought in Malvin Uyedalekachi Ubina, that is a Nigerian national, a marketing officer at Zenith Bank, and Hassan Mori Yaju of number 29A Blacko Road, Freetown, and reported that on behalf of the said bank that the audit department noticed that Marvin Ochika Kaji Ubana conspired together with other persons unknown and illicitly transferred 37,000 United States dollars and 183 million, respectively, through a mobile internet banking into the various customers' bank accounts, number of which those customers unlawfully withdrawn the monies without lawful authority from the management of the bank. The investigation is in progress. We have the Nigerian National and the CID headquarters for further investigation. These are the three important cases, among others.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I think these are interesting cases, and they look slightly complicated. So we'll use all our skills. I think we'll go to Mr. Kelly Dumbuya.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Director of Operations, General Mana. I must hasten to inform you that my regional commander was supposed to be here, but unfortunately, he had some other official assignments. So against the backdrop, he requested that he instructed me to come here. I will report on two cases. One is a case of an alleged murder. On Tuesday, 29th June this year, at about 07:48 hours, Reverend Mustafa Samoa of number 30 Smart Lane, Unionville, Freetown, reported that on that same date, at about 00:00 hours 12, at Post Office Congo Watan Wellington, Freetown, he discovered that his nephew, Adikali Samoa, aged 30, formerly of number 71 Lower Phillips Street, Wellington, Freetown, was found lying dead in a borehole, that is to say, water well. And he thereby suspected foul play. The water well, as I said, is located at Kungwata, Wellington. So the Reverend discovered the corpse of his nephew, and according to him, he discovered foul play. We instituted an investigation into the matter. The scene of crime was visited by a team of detectives accompanied by the scene of crime officer, Soko. The corpse of Adikali Samoa was conveyed to mortuary for post-mortem examination. And it may interest you to know that the autopsy results speaks volume. And notable in the reports are manual strangulation and skull fracture, denoting that indeed there was a foul play. During interrogation, I had cause to detain one Alaji Mansari, a final year law student at FBC. This was owing to the fact that whilst interrogating him in my office, I was of the opinion that he had something to say to the police in pursuit of the investigation. So against that backdrop, I instructed that he be arrested. On Tuesday, same date, at about 0900 hours, consequence upon this development, there was a reprisal action that was taken by the relatives of the deceased. What they did was, they went at the scene of crime and allegedly burnt down a house where it was suspected that the house, I'm referring to the water well, this borehole, the house, in question. So there was this reprisal action. What the guys did was, they went there at the house where this guy was found lying dead and burnt down the house. So we also instituted an investigation into the matter. one Alhaji Stephen Kamara reported the matter officially, and we obtained statements from the complainants and witnesses, and as I'm talking to you, both files were sent to CID headquarters in pursuit of further investigation. Basically, what I want to hammer home here is that after they discovered the corpse of this 30 years old Adekali Samoa, the family of Adekali Samoa resorted to reprisal action, went at the house where the corpse was discovered and burnt it down. So apparently there was a case of alleged murder and also arson. Upon instructions of the Director of Crime Services, AIG Faraselu, I was instructed to send the file to CID headquarters in pursuit of further investigation. And as I said earlier, during my interrogation, I arrested Alhaji Mansari, and all other suspects were escorted to CID headquarters. So that is all for Freetown East, Director of Operations.
Thank you for those very important cases that you are investigating, and I want to thank you and the entire team of the Freetown East for doing a very good job.
Thank you very much.
Please, all illicit issues should be made public so that nobody will see us as being conniving, as people are always writing. Something is here. Is the IG benefiting from the drug trade? We are not, and we don't want to. So, yes, my friend.
Thank you, Director of Operations. Good afternoon, Director of Crime Services. Good afternoon, Media 2. Good afternoon, members of the 4th State. For Freetown West, all other operations are ongoing. The region is calm and quiet. I have 2 matters to report on the operations. The one is on an abstract report of riotous conduct, disorderly behavior, and throwing missiles at Dodo Village at Donkia Peninsula. The regional headquarters, Freetown West, received a court order from the High Court of the Republic of Sierra Leone, requesting that the report provide security coverage for the bailiffs and government surveyor, Mr. Gerard Perry and Mr. Foster respectively, to carry out a writ of possession and a writ of assistance combined on 161 acres of land at the village at Donkia Peninsula, rural area, in favor of plaintiff of this matter. On the 9th of July 2021, at about 12:30 hours, a team of police officers from OSD headquarters and regional headquarters left their respective offices for the village at Donkia Peninsula. Upon reaching at the village, Mr. Gerard Perry is the bailiff and the surveyor map out the areas to be evicted. The eviction started. Upon reaching some parts of the eviction, the youths of the village go into rampage and started pelting stones and other missiles at the police and trying to stop the eviction process. Because of the riotous conduct and disorderly behavior, the eviction process was put on hold and we left the village peacefully. The next day, that was on Saturday, at about 08:10 hours, 10 July 2021, upon receiving distress call by the acting report superintendent at the module that youths of the village has blocked the main peninsula highway. In this regard, a team of personnel from OSD headquarters and regional headquarters again, now headed by the report himself, left the offices for the village on board SLP 233. Upon arrival at the junction entering the village, we met a group of youths who were behaving in a disorderly manner by blocking the main peninsula highway on both ends. Approaching towards them, they started pelting stones and other missiles at the police. The police responded by firing tear gas canisters and dispersed the crowd. The roadblocks were cleared and the free flow of traffic became effective without hindrance. These youths went inside the village, mobilized themselves into large numbers and started attacking the police and trying to stop the police from entering the village. At this period, police officers were left with no other option than to use tear gas canisters and effect arrest of 9 people who was been charged to court as of for the incident.
Thank you. I think during our deliberations we had a Tuku, Alaji Bangura, who came over to throw some light on some of the activities done. And I think you'll be seeing similar phases in future press briefs. Thank you.
Thank you, Director of Operations. I am Superintendent Alhaji Kelfalambadi Bangura, the head of Transnational Organized Crime Unit. I am not going to digress again. The Director of Crime has said it all. But I have brought evidence to depict that we are on top of situations, that the newspaper publication, I'm not going to say it is, you are escalating it or it's fallacious as the case may be, but I have the evidence now that we've had a large cache. They are out there, you will go out and film them. All those elements that you think are the dens, they are out there, you film them and you'll be able to have and garner more evidence, and you'll be able to write, maximize good story for the SLP, but for you coming, and we'll usher you to see the evidence of the tramadol, the jamba, and the kush, and the suspects. They are out there, those that you think you want.
Okay. It is going to be a teaching the class for them, so that they will also be able to identify some of these things by just seeing them. On this note, I think this is the end of the brief. And Mr. You are not here. Can you say a few things before we go into questions and answers?
Thank you so very much, Director
Yes,
of Operations. Of course, my bosses have said it all. I'm waiting on them. Going to discuss, because this is the second time Night Watch. I wanted to call the editor, Emmanuel Tolly. He's our man, but when we talk of the principles and ethical conduct of journalism, it's very, very important. It's not just coming here and you get something from us. You've heard what the head of Toku said. We should be a very good partner wherein we should do the needful by, popularizing, publishing positively what the police is doing in terms of our arrest made and whatsoever. This paper, I underline certain areas of which I will listen to my bosses after this press conference. If the need be, we will call him for him to justify what he would. Thank you so very much, sir.
Thank you. I think this brings us to our briefings.